What would it mean for your business if you had 5 times as many Google reviews as your second place competition to truly dominate your industry so that your website, your reviews, and your SEO rankings made you the undisputed champion of your industry? Well, today's guest is one of my good friends and marketing agency clients, Jeff Yeats of Measured Home Services. Jeff owns a real estate appraiser and home inspection company here in Oklahoma, and he's going to talk about the things that he has implemented so he not only stands out online, but he has truly dominated his industry and what you can do to grow too. Welcome to Marketing Domination. All right. So I am super excited to have my good friend, Mr. Jeffrey Yeats of Measured Home Service. Jeff, we've known each other like 20 plus years now?
Dude, way back, yeah.
We went to high school together, Berry Hill, America. And yeah, been a good friend. We've stayed in contact over the years through various times and everything. Now he is also a Marketing Domination client of our agency, and I'm very honored to have my good friend, Mr. Jeff Yeats. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you much.
I was every time, like oftentimes whenever I'm doing calls and stuff here, like my kids will walk by and they'll hear things or they'll hear me talk about clients and stuff like that. And the thing that they remember about you is like, oh yeah, that's the guy that you told us about that like cheated off you in school and got a better grade than you, right?
Oh, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's good.
I was like, yeah, that's the guy. But one thing I will say to show thanks and to honor you is you are, this might sound like a big thing, but you're one of the reasons why we're here today. So you are the reason why I've had a dozen different jobs. You are the reason why I went from being a restaurant manager to joining the fire service, which becoming a firefighter is what got me into fitness, which got me into marketing, which got me into this agency. Okay. So you don't realize that you've actually had, and I talk about you a lot. Every time I tell like my personal story about like why I'm at where I'm at, I always say, man, I was at my job. I absolutely hated it. I had a good friend from high school just call me out of the blue, talk about how awesome his job was because he was a firefighter. And that's what made me become a firefighter. So I appreciate you more than you know, man.
That's awesome. And now I'm here and you're pulling me along in the business side. So that's funny.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to have Jeff on the episode today is because Jeff is a true example of industry domination. Jeff has his company is Measured Home Services. They do real estate appraisal and inspections here in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, and he's expanding that out, but he has dominated his industry. But it didn't start like that, Jeff. Whenever you originally reached out to me, tell us a little bit about that initial reach out. Like what did you think that you actually needed whenever you reached out versus once you got into it and you started seeing what's possible with marketing, like the stuff that you're doing now, you didn't even know was possible. So tell me a little bit about like how you got started in that whole process and what that was like for you.
Well, when I first got my appraisal license, I felt like it was going to be hard to find business, and because of my licensure level and being new and the market being down a little bit, that it'd be hard to get business. And so I was kind of networking with some other appraisers around the country, and one guy says, man, you need a website, you need to like get you some reviews. Don't get too many reviews at once, but you need a website, you need to do this, that, and the other. He said something about SEO, and I said, let me write that down. What does that mean, you know? And I'm thinking, like, how am I going to do this? Like, research online and stuff. He had kind of told me that, is it WordPress? He had said he uses WordPress. So I sit down, I'm trying to figure out how to do this WordPress website. I get frustrated, long hours in the evening. And I posted on Facebook, like, hey, who knows how to use WordPress? And do you remember this? You sent me a message, or you like text me. You're like, hey man, and we hadn't talked in a while, and you're like, hey man, what is it you're trying to do? And once you got me help me get set up on my website, the first time the phone rang and somebody's like, yeah, I found you on Google. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. But that's how it started. So I just really thought that, I mean, I didn't realize how much you could guide me on like how in-depth the SEO really was and all that. I thought it was something that like I could do basically, but
yeah. Well, I think that it's similar to any industry, like even just like yours, people
Right.
think they have like a preconceived thought about it, like, oh, like so appraisal. Oh, so you're just going to come out with like a measuring tape and just like tell me like how big the rooms are. It's like, no. There's so much more to it than that. And so it's like the more that you get into it, you realize kind of what's possible and everything with
Well,
everything.
and what I've also learned, and I think this is true in a lot of businesses or all businesses, is you can only be so good at what you do. Like I can only be such a good appraiser or so good of whatever. At some point, you've got to move into figuring out how to market your services, and that's what I've noticed that you've been able to do for me is being a market dominator is not because I have all this knowledge that nobody else has. It's just you helping me figure out how to position my business where people find it.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate that. But I will say you are awesome at what you do. But that's the marketing aspect of it. Is there's so many people that have been in business for a long time, or maybe they are new and they're still really good at what they do. If you don't have that out in the digital world, people don't know. People don't know the knowledge that you have in your head. They don't know the experience or testimonials that you've received in the past if they're not documented somewhere online. Like if not, you're just like everybody
Right,
else.
right, right. Yeah. No, that's what I'm. We're saying the same thing. I think is that nobody can
Yeah.
find you. Yeah.
So you said one, but I know that you have several, because that's one of the things that I like about whenever we're doing like our check-in calls
Yeah.
and stuff, is there's always like these exciting things that have happened or exciting things that are going on. Share some of I've got some favorites if you don't say them, but tell me some of your favorite aha moments when you're like, this digital marketing thing, like this business thing, it's actually working pretty well for me, or I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah. I mean, again, I remember the first time the phone rang, they found me on Google. I remember the first time somebody just willingly gave me their credit card up front before we had done any work for them, and I was like, "What makes you trust us?" You know. Um, I mean, even just the other day, I had a guy call that I said, "Hey, we charge for public appraisal work, we charge up front," and he said, "It makes me really uncomfortable." And he called back and he said, "Hey, did a little research. I found somebody had referred him to us." He said, "I did a little research online," and he said, "Man, I'm good with it." And I think the reviews and all that kind of give people assurance. And he said, like, on the first call, he's like, "How do I know you're going to do it?" And I said, You're going to have to trust us." But uh, again, after he did some research, he felt good about it. So, yeah, all the time, those little things come up.
And so that's part of that one was my favorite, by the way. Is I remember you called me, you're like, dude, somebody just called and gave me their credit card number over the phone.
Yeah.
And paid for everything up front. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yes, because you have the system to do that.
Yeah.
And so that was exciting. But you talked about like how you build and establish that trust. So a lot of small business owners, they do exactly what you just said. Man, I know I need to have a website, so let's try
Right.
and figure out how I can scrap this thing together and do it on my own. And it looks like they built it themselves, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can go buy a birdhouse, or you can try and make one on your own. It looks like your kid made it. Like, it's not good. So talk about how the digital presence that you have it makes it easy to establish trust with people. Like when they call you, it's not like if you look at go to Jeff's website, measuredhomeservices.com, you can see it doesn't look like he made it himself. Like our design team made it, looks beautiful. But talk about that, how that helps build the trust.
You mean like when somebody calls and they say, "Yeah, I want to speak with one of the appraisers," and my wife hears that and she's like, "How many people do they think? Like, do you think there's a office full of guys in here?" But man, just your question is how does that help build trust?
Yeah, you've got a very strong digital dominating like blueprint from your
Well,
website reviews and everything. How has that helped you get business with
yeah,
building trust?
I mean, just like I said, that the guy, my example a while ago, people paying up front, and we have credibility when people see our website. One, it says that we take our business seriously, and I mean, they can see that. And then the reviews, I think the reviews are probably as much or more important for me in my success than just what you see on the website.
Yeah.
They find us on the website and they read the reviews, and it gives us credibility.
Yeah, I
I don't know
100%
if I'm
agree with that.
answering your question
Especially,
full, but
no, you are, and I think that I agree with what you say, especially with what you do. You're a local service business, like you serve a local area. You can't go do what you do remotely. So
Oh,
because you
right, right.
serve a local area, local SEO is a big key factor. One of the driving factors for local SEO is reviews. So, what I want you to do is I want you to share with us kind of almost like start to finish your review process. We've got some things that have been built out and automated and stuff, but talk about you how you've gotten so many reviews, because to put this into perspective, if you Google Jeff's service area of like Tulsa home appraisers, Jeff currently is the industry dominator. He's got 245 five-star reviews. How long have you been in business too, by the way? Or
Uh,
how long have you been in business? How long have you had this Google business listing?
what have we had it? 2 years now?
Yeah,
We're
probably about
pretty close to 2 years.
18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
So for almost 2 years, you got 245 reviews. And to put it in perspective, this is what dominating looks like. Jeff's at 245. Second place is at 60. So he's got like what was that? Almost like four times the amount as the second place person. And the person below that has like, I think there's like a 20 or 30, and then there's like an 8. Like people don't have a process around it. So the reviews just happen like when they come in. And the person that has the second place reviews has been in business like over 12 years now. So the only reason they have 60 reviews is just time
Right.
has slowly got it in. You've put in a focused effort and you've been able to see that return, and now you're truly dominating. Tell us how you've done it. What's that process been like for you?
As far as number of reviews, I had one guy call and he said, "Hey, I've done some research. I see you guys have been in business for a long time," and I literally had to like hold my laugh in because I was like 4 or 5 months into this, at the time. Um, but yeah, reviews have been big, and you've taught me a lot about that. So I took it seriously when you said get reviews. It makes a difference. So I always ask for review up front. Now let me back up. Actually, it's when somebody pays an invoice online, then I ask them for the system triggers and asks them for a review. Once they pay the invoice, usually a couple days, they'll pay the invoice and then they get another review request. Sometimes we'll send it to their via text or email or both, and then always after we deliver the service, when we send the report to them in the email, we also ask them for a review, and then I track who's done it or who hasn't done it, and I explain to them why it's important to me because I think that's key. So I tell them, hey,
Mm.
this helps people know that we service your area. This helps people know that we're dependable. This helps people know that they can have confidence in our service or what have you. What was your question?
That No, that was what I was going to say is I want you to talk about that part of the follow up and the tracking. So a lot of people like, oh yeah, I ask my people for reviews.
Oh yeah,
Well, one, you actually do it very consistently, and I'm going to give more examples of that. But talk about the tracking aspect, because it's not just about asking
yeah.
once. Like, how many times would you say you have to ask multiple times before
Three.
they get it?
Yeah, I
And
probably
yeah,
asked three
so
times.
3 times.
Yeah. I would
Okay.
say at least. And a lot of I found this too. A lot of people will they mean well and they'll want to give you a review, but they'll forget it's not important to them. And some people will say, "Hey, thanks for the reminder," and they'll get on there and do it. But
Yeah.
I want my goal is for every single person that I talk to leave a review. So anytime I'm talking to somebody, I'm thinking, is this a review potential? And even when somebody calls our office and they just want, like, they have questions like, hey, I'm buying a house, I need an appraisal, and we talk, and I say, you're gonna have to order that through the bank. Oh, I didn't know that. And I said, yeah, you don't have to pay it twice. Like, you should just call your bank, let them handle it. And they're like, man, thanks. You're the first one that answered the phone, and so I listen for what they tell me that they've learned, like how I've helped them, and then I ask them for review, and I say something to the effect of, hey, that way other people know that we can guide them in the right direction, or that we answer the phone. I've told a lot of people, hey, would you just leave me a comment? We want other people to know that we at least answer the phone around here. Yeah, you bet. And I never did any work for them. And I also want the reviews to be genuine, so I tell them, like, that's all you have to say. And
Yeah.
there'll be a few people who are like, well, I didn't use your service. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah.
That be like, if local business owners listening to this, like, you don't realize the value in that. Like, you haven't serviced all, like, and that's what I love. So since our agency is connected to your Google listing, like, we get to see all of the reviews coming in. And so I love that because I see it, but I see that all the time. And people, as a small business owner, you guys need to understand this. So Jeff, truly, one of the reasons why he dominates is, yes, he's got this stuff in place, but you can see his heart. He actually serves and cares for people. So a lot of the reviews that he has gotten, if you go look at the reviews on there, they're all 245 5-star reviews at the time of this recording. There's several of them that are exactly that. Man, I called and they weren't able to help me, but man, he explained the entire process to me. I saw one come in the other day. Another real estate appraiser left you a review because he called you to ask you a question. And it was like, man, he was so helpful. He helped me out. And like, this is like your competition, but you know that you're an awesome person and you're following up with people whenever another appraiser is leaving a 5-star review on your business's page. Like,
I had one guy tell me, man, be careful about who you ask for reviews for, because what if they leave you a bad review, and kind of feel out the situation. And I've done appraisals. I've sent off appraisals that I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be happy with this or not, where they, sell the house for more than we appraised it for or whatever. And I think, I don't know what they're going to say about me, but I ask anyway. And the more 5-star reviews, 4 or 5-star reviews that we get, then the less I'm concerned about it, because you can see that most people feel like our service is helpful. You know what I mean? And I even I've had 2 people tell me, because I'll email them and say, hey, I'm going to take you off the follow-up list, but this is basically like my 3rd time to ask. It's really important. We'd like to get reviews from everybody that we've worked with. If you don't mind leaving a review, we'd appreciate it. And I've had 2 different people email me back and say, hey, we were unhappy with the service. We're not going to leave a review. I don't think you want our review on your site. And what I think that tells me is, like, they're the ones that feel uncomfortable because they're going against the crowd. Like, 250 people pleased. What's wrong with these people that are not pleased? You know what I mean? And you can please everybody. So I don't mean to sound like that, but the more 5-star reviews we get, the less people are inclined to get on there and leave a hateful comment. But also,
there's things,
the ones that are not as great, that just shows that, like, they're genuine comments, and I'll respond to those.
Yeah, that's what makes the Google reviews so powerful and good, is because it's really hard to fake them, because you have to have a Google account. It's kind of a pain. Like, I know sometimes it's a pain because people have to log into Google and everything to leave the review and all of that stuff. But that does make them more valuable and more genuine, just like what you said. And that there's automations and there's things that we've talked about, and we can build out to where you can almost have like a filter to where you can like ask a survey, and then if they leave a 5-star, then it sends them a review and everything. I personally don't like that step because it adds another step to the client, because I want all the reviews.
Right.
Because like you said, the more you get, for one, if you remove that, it's just going to increase the number of total reviews as you get. But the more real reviews like that you get, whenever you go to a place, you think about this, like, obviously you're going to look at total reviews and how many like are 5 stars, but the ones I'm going to look at the 1 stars, the 2 stars. Like, I want to see like what people have said. And with that, you see one of 2 things. Like, for you, if you get a 1-star or 2-star review, it is kind of embarrassing almost for that person. Like, dude, you got 250 people have had an amazing experience, and like, it's definitely going to be a gut check before you like press submit on that review. Like, maybe I'm just being a little too picky here, because you have so many people that you please.
Right.
But then it also can show that, like, hey, they're human. Like, sometimes, you guys might be late on something or something like that. Like, it shows that there is human, that these aren't fake. The other thing that makes them powerful is when you do get the low reviews, if you ever do, is how you respond to them. And because I look for that as a customer owner business, I want to look at whenever somebody does have an issue, did the business owner take ownership of it, or is it like, oh, you're just complaining, like, we never could have made you happy anyway, or we never want to have you as a client again? Like, that's the wrong way to handle it. So
somebody told me, somebody had also told me that the same thing about it's how you respond to the negative ones. And I have one that comes to mind, a negative one that we got not that long ago. And I had no idea this customer was unhappy. Like, they never heard back from them after they pay, they send off the report, never heard back from them. I continued to ask for a review, and it was like 3 months later. I was like, oh, I never got a review from this lady, and I sent it back off. And she gets on there and sends this, very disappointed review. And so I just commented on there, and at first I tried to call her because I want to explain, answer her questions, and
Yeah.
she didn't answer. I leave a message, then I get on there and respond to the review, and basically I feel like she just misunderstood what she was getting, and so
Mm.
and I just said that on there, like, hey, what you're wanting is you're wanting an appraisal comparing new houses to old houses, and that's not the way the appraisal process works. And just kind of spelled some of that out. And then I said, hey, give us a call if we can answer any more questions. And of course, I never heard back from her, but
Yeah. That's good. Cause I mean, that's a way to think about it too, is like the negative reviews can also two things. One, it can help you improve your service. And two, like maybe that's something that we could add into like the FAQs on your website or create blog content around it just so we can kind of do some more consumer
yeah,
education. Cause I think businesses that are hesitant about asking, to me, it's just an excuse because with, especially a business like you to have that many reviews, one, it's a service, but then it's also a service to where you are showing people the value of things. So there's kind of two things, because I've seen some of the reviews that come in, like there's two ways that people review you, which one is fair and one is unfair, but they're still going to review you by.
right.
So one is, did you actually do what you were going to say you do? Like, did you provide this service? What's the quality of that service? To me, that's the only thing you should be judged on. But then you also have another thing working against you where people will be like, yeah, they did an amazing job, but I didn't like the appraisal. Like, well,
Oh
it doesn't
yeah,
matter what you like. It's
right,
it's what it actually
right.
it's what it actually is. And so the fact that you still have done that well, despite you still have that kind of more subjective thing to it, like it's just up to their opinion on what they think the appraisal is, but you're still dominating. So I
Yeah,
think that's awesome.
yeah.
One thing I want to point out about you that you do very, very well too, that everybody can do, kind of highlighting that again. You get reviews from three different places. One is whenever you first started out, and this is with any small business owner, start with people you know. So you started with your network, you started with friends, family,
Yeah,
just get those character reviews, because just like you've shown in what you do, they don't have had to have done business with you. The point of reviews is establishing trust and authority. Like, is this person a trustworthy person? So even if they've never had a service with you, just a trustworthy guy, like I've known him for years, that kind of thing. Like that
right.
helps a lot. And it helps kind of like prime the pump to get it going. Two, and this is my favorite thing, that I'll be honest, you're the only client that has taken advantage of this. And that's why I wanted you to come on here and talk about this. Getting every phone call. Like, you don't just ask. Most people do step 1 and 3. They ask for people they know and they ask for clients. I think there's secret in the middle ground here of every single phone call that rings, you're providing value. And if you're going to be answering the phone anyway, like you're taking, 3-5 minutes to answer the call with the client, like
A hundred
get a review
percent.
out of the
A
thing.
100%. That's my thought. Is I'm like, hey, I answered the phone and gave you 5 minutes of my time and answered your questions. If that was helpful, like, would you mind leaving me a review?
Yeah. And it's that simple. Like, you're not like overcomplicating it. You are just asking.
Yeah. And if they say yes, man, I write that number down or make a note in the story guide. I make a note in there, and if they said yes, then I have less a hesitation to follow up with them because I think they just forgot or they didn't get the link,
Yeah.
or man, sometimes people will fill them out on Google and they don't show up, they get blocked for whatever reason. So
Yep.
I've learned that too. So I always follow up if I don't see them.
That's awesome. And then, so that to me is the secret sauce. Is the phone rings, you're going to add value and you're going to get a review, which is awesome. And then the other one is just clients. Absolutely. And then the consistently follow up with those clients.
And respond to them, respond to the reviews.
Yeah. That's a good point too. Yeah. And make sure that you respond to your reviews. So you're not just sitting back collecting them, but you're just like you're responding with the 1 stars. Also want to have a good, thoughtful response to the 5 stars, because as especially now, I mean, you're at the point now to where it's easy, but it just shows that, like, oh wow, they actually do care about the reviews because they are thoughtfully responding to each and every one of them. I think that's awesome. The kind of shifting a little bit, but kind of the same thing as far as systems that's built out. One of the other things that we set up was something that's the missed call text back. So you are a service provider, so you can't always be, and you don't have a receptionist that's answering the phone right now. When they measure, somebody calls measured home service right now, like 99% of the time, they're getting Jeff. And
Right.
so a concern with that is, man, sometimes I'm doing the actual work people are paying me for, and I can miss call. And with a service business like what you do, like you think this, plumbers, contractors, inspections, stuff like that, a lot of times people are going to Google, they're typing it in, and they're going down the list. So if you don't miss the call, you can lose money. Talk about what we have and what you have set up so that doesn't happen and how that's helped.
Yeah, the missed call text back, just that. So if I missed a call, then the system will automatically send a text and say, hey, this is Measured Home Services. Sorry, I missed your call. Like, how can we help? And what I've noticed is it at least gets them to engage. And sometimes they won't, but in my opinion, if they're going to, then they will right then. So there have been times where I missed the call. And I really don't even realize that I missed that call. And ding, I get a message, and they're like, I need an appraisal in Tulsa. Oh, this guy just called. I can call him back, or just get them engaged. So, and then
Yeah.
they feel like we're on top of things. When they get the message, and sometimes I can't answer the phone, but I could message. So that will prompt them if they respond, then I can engage in a text. So yeah, it's been a huge help.
That's so true, because if you think about, I always tell people, like, you're not that special. What I mean by that is, like, how you do things is how your potential customers are going to do things. So think about, like, if you're needing, a repair or service done on your home or anything locally, like, you're just going to start you're going to go to Google, you're going to look for the ones that stand out the most with the reviews, might click on the website, check on the website, you're going to start making phone calls. If that first person doesn't call, you're not going to sit and wait for them to call you back before you call the second person. Like, you're just going to fire down the list.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so we built out what's called missed call text back for Jeff. And so what it does is exactly that. We can set the trigger, but if he doesn't pick up the phone within so many rings, it automatically will send him to the voicemail, and then also directly send him a text of whatever message that we send. And so, yeah, that like you said, it's about engaging them and showing that you're responsive. Because again, just looking at some of the reviews are like, wow, yeah, I've called several people. You're the first person I've gotten contact with. So if you can't pick up the phone to speak with them, you at least want to still initiate that contact. And yeah, the missed call text back makes it super easy.
Yeah, and
So
sometimes we're the only business that they call because they do some research online and they have so much confidence in us that they're willing to give us a little bit more time to respond and get back to them because they're so impressed up front. You know what I mean?
yeah, you have dominated your industry. Like, if they're, and this is what's cool about stuff like this, and dominating, and especially dominating with organics. That means not paid stuff. There could be another home appraisal company pop up overnight, and they could spend, thousands of dollars a month just in paid ads to rank up higher than you. But as soon as they stop paying, it's still going to show up as sponsored, and you're going to see that it's an ad, and you're still going to look at the real reviews, and you're going to see that you're dominating and beating them. But once they stop paying for that, it's gone. You could, I mean, I'm not telling you to do this, and I know that you're not, but like, the second place person has been in business for 12 years and they only have 60. So like, you could literally just like let the foot off the gas right now, and you're so far ahead of everybody, you're going to just naturally keep going. Like, what I'm trying to say is, it's kind of like building starting to snowball. Like, it's a lot of work up front, but now you've got this thing so big, it could just roll on its own, and you'd still keep going. But I know that that's not the plan for you, because now that what I want you to do, kind of last thing here is, now that you've seen what's possible. Originally, Jeff just wanted a WordPress website, and he thought he was going to just build that up and then network and get some leads. Your eyes have been open. We've got this whole digital domination thing set up for you, to where you've got all of these triggers, automations and stuff. SEO is going and everything, and you've truly dominated your local market. Now that's kind of opened your eyes up to even more possibilities. So talk about how now this has expanded new opportunities to grow with different services in your business, and then also where you're thinking about, other markets and everything else.
Man, like as soon as this started to take off and trend upward very quickly, I was like, man, I should open more businesses. This is awesome.
Business is
This is
easy.
awesome. Yeah. No, man, I want to dominate Oklahoma. I want 1,000 reviews, and I want to dominate Oklahoma. And you have opened my eyes to, man, with the right kind of guidance and stuff. Like you say, these are your words. Like, man, it's all possible. Anything's possible. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, we brought in. I started listening to what people would call and ask, and figure out how can I service those areas as well. So people get, like, for example, appraisers and home inspectors mixed up. So they'll call and ask about a home inspection. And for a while, I would say, oh, we don't offer those. And I thought, why can't we offer those? And then, working with you, like, hey, how can we kind of shift our marketing online to kind of pick up some of those leads, I get organically is how you would say it online. But yeah, just bringing in more areas of business to cover and service these people, and then cover other areas of Oklahoma is our goal.
That's awesome. So the world can watch as Jeff Yeats of Measured Home Services is. I would go out on a limb and assume there is no appraisal company in the country that's got 1,000 reviews, and so I know that you're going to be the first one to get there. And I'm super honored that you're my friend and that you're also a client and everything. And I'm excited to see what you keep doing, brother. So thank you so much for
Dude,
your time today.
thanks for your help, man.
I hope you guys got tons of value out of that episode and you start to see how it's not anything that's super confusing to make all this stuff work. It's just being consistent with some of the simple things. If you took anything away from this, start asking people for Google reviews and create a process around it. We automate it and do all this through our tool, Story Guide Funnels, and at our marketing agency, Sean Garner Consulting. So if you don't want to have to figure it out all on your own, that's something we absolutely can do for you. Click down here below, go to seangarner.co, schedule a call so you can talk to me, and we're going to see exactly what we can do to help your service business dominate online.